so professional. There we go. Nailed it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to more Phoenix Springs. I think we're going to finish the game today. If we don't, we might not be finishing the game. But I wanted to give it... This problem is that we've started and stopped a couple of games, and that makes me antsy. So we're going to finish Phoenix Springs, and then I think... I might circle back to Rise of the Golden Idol and push through that to the finale. I think that's the plan. We'll see. We'll see. Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm excited that this game has a narrator who talks, because then I can eat my weekend oats while she does that. And that's nice for me. When last we left, we were in a white void. No. So, in this game, we play Iris, a hardened reporter who's jaded. And, oh, the game's not responding. Well, that's fine. She is searching for her brother, Leo, who was a bioethicist. And I guess we found him, and he died, and told us not to go to Phoenix Springs, which is where we're at now. Here's other important context for the game. It's fucking beautiful. Every screen of this game is gorgeous, and I wish I had a print of it, and I would wallpaper my bathroom with these beautiful prints and just stare at them all day long. The gameplay has some dream logic that is really hard to parse, and so it's probably not going to be in my Game of the Year list for that reason, but it is beautiful, so I kind of wanted to push through and play the rest of it. I think my guess is we're probably about halfway. Weekend oats. I have weekday oats, which are quick oats that I make in the microwave, and I've got weekend oats that are steel cut oats that I cook on the stove because they're nicer and better quality that way. Treat yourself to some upscale oats. I'm a cool horse.
What are you? She asks. Still a reporter. You're right, she says. People don't change. Not sure I agree. Look who's talking, she says. Is she following me?
The other thing about this game is that it has really long walking times.
How's the water? If you float long enough, she says, the body mistakes gravity for motion. Sounds risky. To incubate means to lie down, she says. You should try it. Puzzling train of thought. Non sequiturs. Irrelevant answers. I notice a pattern.
The name of the actress is on the website, and somebody pulled it up and said it, but I don't remember. Alexandra? Not Claudia Black.
Grotesque carvings. Distorted features.
Rude.
Why?
Fine. Okay, so we got a cabin, we got some masks. Oh, is there a cabin within this cabin? That's fun.
Miniature versions of the cabin I'm standing in. They're identical, even in their defects.
Cool. Nope, I did not mean to talk to the bucket.
Wooden. Rustic. Not in use.
I like the strategy
distorted features.
Having this lady voice all the characters in a weird way by doing like this noir aesthetic. Yeah, she sounds a lot like
Propped
Claudia
against
Black.
The wall. Doesn't lead anywhere. Doesn't lead anywhere. And I don't need it.
Mallets.
They vary in shape and size, but not much.
I think it's a smart strategy for like an indie game, because then it's like you have one person who's doing all the VO And that is going to cut down on your editing work. It's going to cut down on your recording work. I think it's really, really smart. I don't know if that was why they chose the strategy. It is also very like a very neo-noir aesthetic.
Finely ground, speckled with ashes.
Ah.
This one's for baking, full of ashes and charred crust. Flour and greyish paste. Both
Well,
rock hard
spoiled loaf.
and breaking down.
Oh, breaking down is such a gentle way of saying
Clay
molding.
pots, frothy liquids and powders.
Oh, yeah, I've got some old soup having a breakdown in my fridge. Like, can I use the
To
fireplace?
solve what problem?
Can I use
Maybe.
the flour?
But for what purpose?
All purpose.
Flour and... Could use a wipe, but no.
Okay. Mechtel, incredible. Incredible. Incredible streak.
Makes the place what it is.
There's more village. Okay. Carpenter. Cabin. Oh, there. Is that me? Yes. Okay.
I could look at it all day.
Me too. At this art.
Another cocktail of fragrances. Bleach, polished metal. It reminds me of a hospital room.
What? Really? The hanging fruits?
Hand-stained timber.
This is a nice village. Oh, the crying
Soot-stained
girl.
hearth.
That was a clue we have. The crying one.
Is she okay? Can I help? I'm sorry, she says, like a child who disappointed her parents. What for? I don't remember, she sobs. Can she tell me anything about herself? Anything that could help? It's like it doesn't print, she says. I have all this knowledge in my head, but it doesn't print correctly. Someone around here asked about Leo Dormer. Does she know him? It's possible, she says without much conviction. I don't feel great about pressing her, but this is crucial. It backfires. She breaks down. I'm going under soon, she says, and I can't remember my own name. I can't remember my craft. I can't even remember what I look like anymore. She's the best lead I have so far. I must jolt her memory.
What? Okay. What? Do we have... Is this a fetch quest to help this person with their... I guess amnesia?
Okay, I should take it easy on her.
Well, I can't...
I describe her features.
Okay, there we go.
Slender frame, shoulder-length hair. No, she protests. That's all wrong.
Oh no, she's got body dysmorphia.
What does she mean by craft? She answers with another question. Why did they have to make the words so ugly, she asks. I'm unsure what she means. They replaced my instructions, so I had to burn them, she explains.
Okay.
That's why I don't remember, she says. I don't remember what I'm supposed to do. Any
All right,
pointers?
what's your name?
Initials? Nothing.
What if you could solve amnesia by just tricking somebody into answering? I guess it's probably not amnesia then. Okay. I mean, the craft feels like it has to do with these planks, right?
Handprints don't match. Makes me think this isn't her task.
Oh my god, what are we doing?
Filled with viscous, blood-red paint.
I mean,
Smells of burnt wood.
she looked like she had black, like, soot on her face, so maybe she's a baker. Oh, I did not mean to leave. Hold on.
If she did burn them in there, the evidence is gone. Relentless and precise. Can't tell if he's fixing or destroying it. I know you, he says. Used to read all your articles. Sounds more like scorn than flattery. Under his breath, he calls me a traitor. Did I hear him right? You either live your culture or destroy it, he says. There is no in between.
Whoa! I kind of like that. You either live your culture or destroy it? I'm interested. I guess that's one of those things that sounds cool but could be easily warped by bad actors.
Ancient furnace. Hasn't been fired in a long time.
If it helps minor solemnity, I feel like the first half was not quite as obtuse as this portion is. We've sort of gone just
Manual weaving machine.
Full obscurity.
I don't know how. Pedal powered. Turns fibers into thread.
I think come on, no, go back. I think that
Fireless.
I think this
Fine
lady's
selection
a
of
baker.
garments, yet so few choose to wear them.
No, no, no. There we go.
All I can see is soot.
Well, if the instructions are burnt, that is probably what you would see.
Work. I'd like confirmation before I submit it to her. Too easily confused.
Okay, I think she's a baker. Maybe I'll just go back to the bakery. Can I go in there?
It's been hollowed out.
Okay.
Or hasn't been filled in yet.
Well, probably hasn't been filled in yet. I don't know why you'd think it had been hollowed out. I don't think people do that to cabins a lot. Oh, I forgot, Ostrich, thank you. I forgot to mention that we found her younger brother, and he was way, way, way older than her. Because that feels like it's a mystery. One I hope we get solved, but that might be asking a lot.
Not in this one either.
He went to the beach. That makes you old, Giazda, yeah. He went to the bioethics conference that makes you old, which is all bioethics conferences. All right. I think she's a baker.
The instructions aren't in there.
Well,
could be, but I need proof. I don't even know what it's for.
I guess maybe I should just ask that dude. Oh, you took a bioethics class in college? That is cool. That is a thing I feel like I would like to know more about. Hey guy, what's this lady's name? And job, and appearance. Hey Longtone, thank you for the resubscribe.
I don't feel particularly safe talking to him.
What the fuck do you mean you don't feel safe? What the fuck does that mean?
Good guess. But it's empty except for crumbled bricks.
Oh. How... Longtone, thank you for the gift subs! Holy cow! Thank you for the 10 gift subs! Hey, if you just got a gift sub, you can come and join the Discord. And you should, because the Discord's awesome. You should come hang out. Thank you so much, Longtone. Cheers! These weekend oats are for you. Uh-huh.
Is she safe here? Anyone to speak to? She shrugs. I have no idea. Where did she burn them? Why? Why, she asks back. Why did they make the words so ugly?
Help
the topic
me
confuses
help
and
you.
upsets her. Goes nowhere.
Help me help you. Alright, when we... Can I look at her again?
Red-eyed. Hands and face blackened by coal or ash.
I was assuming the coal or ash was in reference to her craft, but if she burned instructions, maybe she's just ashy from burning them. I don't normally do this, but I am just gonna look up a guide. I no longer trust the logic of this game to direct me appropriately. I don't like feeling that. Oh, this is so funny. The the walkthrough I used last time and the walkthrough I'm now using is made by the studio that made this game. What the fuck does that mean? I think that means that they knew. They knew. They had to. It's literally on their website. It's genuinely on their website. Longtown, thank you for the gifts up for Trollobite. That feels like a bad sign. Like that feels like they knew. I do like the phrase pixel bitchin'. I feel like that would be my drag king name. Okay. Is this an ARG thread? Well, I mean, I will say the peek behind the curtain here. Oftentimes when I am sent games early for like review, like when studios or companies, PR companies send out games for review, oftentimes they will have like a very, very basic walkthrough, very similar to the walkthrough as it is here, which is to say like not like developed. It's very much like, this is the thing, here's the exact things you need to do to progress a story. And that's because like, if you're reviewing a game that hasn't come out yet, there are no resources if you get stuck. So this is like not an uncommon thing to do if you have early access or review codes for journalists and streamers and such. For a company to publish it, I am fascinated by this concept. I'm really, really, really curious. Okay. All right. It says we have to go farther, basically. I think it's a good choice. Yeah, Night Rook Raven, 100%. The fact that we have used it now twice does indicate to me that this was, in fact, a smart thing for them to do. But it's one of those things where it's like, it speaks to a very modern era of gaming. Like the idea that you would, I don't need to talk to this motherfucker. The idea that you would have an idea, well, but it's also like, it might also be a situation where it's like, in playtesting, they realized maybe there were some logic issues and it was too late to go back and repair them. Especially since this game is so art focused. And I think the studio that made it is like an art studio. So that is their emphasis, and that is why the game is so fucking beautiful. Yeah, with syrup, yeah, that's sort of it. Like, it is inevitable. Well, this is the thing. It's not... This is another thing, is like, they could just be game FAQ fans. That's funny. Yeah, some people will always be terrible at puzzle solving. That's true. this is another balance that you get with indie game studios, which is like, do we put out this information, or do we hope that the game gets big enough that fans will put out this information? And like, I've played games where the games were not popular enough or had not been discovered sufficiently by the right people to have any amount of guides. Like if you're in the indie game space, sometimes that will happen. And so there is a way in which having this walkthrough is really wise, because it's like, if somebody gets stuck on your game midway through and doesn't beat it because they can't find a guide online, then you're never gonna get any traction. But again, that indicates issues with the base game that you should be aware of and probably do something about. So, didn't games used to be published with official game guides sold separately? Not broadly, Geosty. I would not say broadly, but the games have always had strategies to help players that were stuck. Those strategies have evolved over the years with the internet and, you know, game facts and like video walkthroughs and things like that. Well, not all games got official game guides. If a game was popular enough, it would get a game guide, because that's another way of milking money out of players, right? But here's the thing is, walkthrough and strategy and information about that in games like that used to be shared verbally in communities. You would go to an arcade and someone would be like, hey, if you shoot that thing, you'll get, you know, this little secret. What if a game had a paid tip line? Are you talking about Nintendo Power? Actually, that wasn't paid. But yeah, like Nintendo used to run Nintendo Power. Yeah, the Nintendo hotline. I used the Nintendo hotline because when I was young, my sister had a Game Boy, and my friend and I were playing. She also had a Game Boy, and we were playing Link's Awakening together, OG Link's Awakening, and we both got to the same room, and I think the second dungeon, and we had no clue how to progress, and we were stuck on it for like probably days, but which felt like weeks, because we were children. And eventually she called the Nintendo hotline, and I think the Nintendo power line might have had a fee, because if I remember correctly, she got in trouble. She called them and spoke to a woman who was just like an employee there, and was like, here's the game I'm on, here's where I'm stuck. And she got the answer and shared it with me, and then got in trouble when there was a fee on the phone line. But it was absolutely worth it. Okay, where the fuck is the cabin that I'm supposed to be getting to? So in a way, it's crazy that any walkthroughs are free online, but it's like, games have always been mysterious and had this issue. Games have always had this issue, but there have always been like strategies to overcome it. And some of those, internet says it was a 1-900 number. It's so funny. Her family could afford it. I'm not worried about them. Continue past, leave the village on the left. I might have left the village on the wrong. Leave the village on the left. Okay, there was more village that I didn't go to. I'm gonna focus. But yeah, it's just like the strategies, because I mean, it used to be like you were just at an arcade, and the other people who were at the arcade were people who were. Is this what I wanted? No, this is the calligrapher. Other people at the arcade would just like know how to do the things that you wanted to do. Yes, Talax. Yes, 100%. I love those. Text walkthroughs on GameFAQs with intricate ASCII formatting. I mean, the amount of time and energy that people would put into game walkthroughs for no other reason than they loved the game and they wanted to help people is just like, it's incredible. It's incredible. And so it's just like one of those things where it's like, I will say also, like, game walkthroughs are a huge and really important and very reliable source of income for, like, journalistic endeavors. Like, if you're a video game website, I'm not going to name any names, but if you were a video game website, for example, having guides is going to reliably bring traffic into your website. And so it's almost super vital to have those sorts of things and to have good SEO on them, to get them out early. If you can get them out, have them ready to go when a game launches, that's ideal. And stuff like that, where it's like, that is part of the business now. All right, it said I need to leave the village on the left. I assume there's an exit off this way, but we'll see. Oh, yeah, I mean, wikis are its own. Oh, good, yeah, see, there's a secret little path back here I would only know about if I hovered my mouse over it or read a walkthrough. Slugpunk, yes. Yes. Yeah. The Animal Crossing guides did insane for us, for Polygon. I shouldn't say us, I'm not there anymore. Did insane for Polygon over the pandemic. And, like, being able to make guides. Video walkthroughs make me angry. Same. I can't stand video walkthroughs, and I can't stand. I mean, sometimes you need them, right? Because it's like a weird pathing thing, but I don't know. And that's one of those things. That's one of those hidden things where it's like, people. I mean, because you can just copy and paste a guide and put it on your own horrible little cheap ass website, and then challenge the SEO of a bigger, more established site. Thank you, Sheeta. I enjoyed it too. Or if you have AI, you can generate inaccurate AI guides that seem like they're legitimate and send people on wild goose hunts, to no end. And then it's too late. They've already clicked on your website, so you already get the ad revenue and the SEO bump, like the search engine bump from that. So it's just one of those things is like, there's a lot of very obvious stuff that's super, super dangerous to games journalism. That's a very unobvious thing where it's just like game guide revenue being, like redirected to shitty, stolen or AI
sites. Mix of pungent natural products, public transport body odor, various stages of fraud, strong fermented smell.
They're making cider.
Leaning like he's lost his balance. I know that stance.
He drunk.
I was a real butcher, he laments. A proper rat, apex creature. He burps and retches. I'd go to your office, he says. I'd strip the premises. Even sniffed out a font that saved money on ink. Another sock puppet spewing out nonsense.
Sock puppet.
Fresh ashes. Enjoying the fumes.
Not him, the fireplace.
I run my hand through paper-thin cinders. There is also paper in there. Erdnach. Step 1, illegible. But that must be the instructions.
Erdnach. Okay. That could be anything, though. That could be a name or a craft.
Enjoying the fumes a bit too much.
Rude. A review of an obscure game FAQ is funny and insane. Hold on, I think I can lower the sound effect volume. The voiceover volume is very low, comparable to the rest of the mix. Okay. We got that. Oh my god, I have to go all the way back. Okay. Should I talk to these people? How long is it going to take me to walk over here?
I signal to her. She can't hear me.
Oh. Alright, let's just get out of here. Okay, there's a gate over that way. The walking. Moonbasket, have good knitting. Just walking, just enjoying the forest. Just going back the way I came. Just hanging out. Okay, I need to go. Basically back the exact way I came. Therapeutic activity, that's nice. Wow, Twitch really said you can't say pound cake in chat. Pound cake already has so much butter in it. How much butter did you put in this pound cake? Is it just butter? Are you baking just butter? I don't think that's how you make caramel, but could you? Could you bake caramel?
I mentioned the word. Erdnak, she repeats, relishing the clacking consonant. Erd, she explains, was meant to sound harsh. In that context, it meant cooked or baked. Nuk, she continues, was a shape. Rectangular, to be precise. So, a baked rectangle, that would make sense, she smiles.
Okay. Okay.
So, what is a baked rectangle? That's the beauty of my craft, she says. One can invent a tongue without being fluent in it. I don't think she knows.
Chat, Twitch really hates the word pound cake. Unfortunately, it's really funny.
Things. I'm trying to, she says, pointing at her work. I want to sympathize or at least understand, but I fail to see how she's helping. Language is a material, she says. Yet we build with clay that's as brittle as boiled bones. Pinches the bridge of her nose in frustration. Or is it bird bones? She's lost me. It's hard to convey, she admits.
If I knew it was the end of the world, and I had like an hour, I do think getting a cup of coffee would be a pretty top tier thing to do. Forking path, is that what I want? Yeah. And then I want... No. I think also the directionality of this portion is also not what I expect. Just a lot of walking. Should I have played Rise of the Golden Idol instead? Was this a mistake? This is fine. You would drive go-kart the whole day? Honestly, that fucking rules. That rules. Sharknoffler. Okay. It's a lot more Lynchian than Golden Idol. That's very true. That's very true. I don't know. It's hard to, I do think it's hard to balance atmospheric art game with engaging gameplay. It's a very difficult thing to do. I do think this is the studio's first game. For a first game, this is fucking spectacular.
Would be right for baking, but it's empty except for crumbled bricks. Although, rectangular, baked. Is that what I'm after? Bricks.
I'm wondering, it says this is an ancient kiln. I'm wondering if there's more weird time stuff and she's like, she was an ancient brick baker? None of these houses have bricks though. So what were they even using the bricks for?
Does she know how to bake bricks? 77% mud, she recites. 19 sand. 4% straw. A glint of recognition. Gratitude even. I bake
Their
bricks.
fireplaces have brick. That's a good point.
I build bridges that break. Mason is the name I was given here. That is my craft.
And I look like a bridge. All right. I wonder if we have to like tell her to go to the water.
She's beginning to remember.
Hey, do you know my fucking brother? Or this is another thing is like, I no longer know what we are doing here. Like, I just don't know what goal we are now trying to progress. I like to think it's that we're trying to solve the mystery of why our younger brother was like 30 years older than us, more 50 years older than us. But I'm not, because this game has gotten so Lynchian, I'm not positive we're going to get an answer. Is night falling? I looked away and it feels like everything's getting darker. Did night just fall in this game? Okay. The walkthrough is telling me to go to the statues, but I don't know what statues it's talking about. I like that night fell. Oh, it's so very atmospheric. Again, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game.
I approach with caution. She senses my presence. I was promised so much, she says, but it doesn't print.
Look in the water.
I just want to remember who I was, she says, before I go under.
I do worry that I'm going to help her and she's going to just walk into the river. I haven't read that. I haven't read much Murakami. Can I get to the... Okay, no, that's just back the way I came. I haven't read much Murakami. I have read some of his work. It didn't light me on fire. I like the structure of it. I didn't super love... I don't have a more developed critique than this. This is the only thing I remember from whatever book of his I read. Didn't like how the women were portrayed in it. And so I've never really engaged with the rest of his work. Oh God, my glasses are filthy. Okay. A burnt tree. Oh no, that's the direction. Old tree, burnt tree. Okay, old tree I think is back the way we came. Oh god, there's a person here. Hi.
If you float long enough, she says, the body mistakes gravity.
I already talked
I've
to you.
heard it before.
Yeah.
Blinking. Not as unconscious as I thought.
This is beautiful. No, 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 don't go. Look at the buckets. Look at the buckets. Look at the burnt tree.
Filled with rotting fruit.
Oh.
Stacked head high, pyramid-like. Hollow, ominous. Buzzes gently.
Because it's full of flies from the rotten fruit? Can I use the bucket?
To solve what problem?
Okay. It's totally fair. It's totally fair. To solve what problem? I don't know. It's a point and click game. I got a point, I got a click. Those are my two powers. With syrup, it's a great question. Just piles and piles of nasty fruit everywhere. Okay, I think the old tree... I think it's as a loop. I think we've already been to the old tree, but from the other side. Faith shape, yeah, faith, yeah.
Flooded dwellings. Unknown decaying structures. Can't reach them.
You said the statues... This cabin, there's water. I mean, there was that... There's the left of the burnt tree? Okay. So it's not... I was going to say there was a cabin with a bunch of sculpted faces. They weren't really statues. This is exhilarating. Night Rook Raven, I'm going to level with you. I don't know if I want a Murray comic book that's not misogynist, but also real depressing. I might be like neutral on that endeavor. Now, Jim, I appreciate it. My patience for this game is pretty minimum right now.
What happens when you place a mirror in front of another mirror? I don't know. Some kind of infinity. You have two mirrors, he says. The thought tickles him. He giggles. Don't know why I expected wisdom. Maybe
yeah,
it's
that's
the
on
tree.
you. That's on you. Hey, Chad, thank you for the resubscribe.
Disheveled, begging for attention. In the city, he'd be feeding pigeons.
Rude. It's a good thing he's out here then, huh, lady?
Anonymous figure. Clutching scrolls or blueprints of some kind.
Were these made by
A
Leo?
headless builder brandishing a
Maybe?
trowel. The plinth has been defaced.
Oh,
What
it's by
remains are
someone
three
else.
letters.
Okay, Night Rook Raven.
S-O-N.
That I am more interested in. Thank you. The memory police, is that what you said? Go to statues. Okay.
Doesn't say anything about. Doesn't feel like her, and yet the letters match her name. The trowel makes sense. Is that the same person? Let's see if it awakens anything in the girl.
Oh. I got an achievement that says the letters match her name.
I recognize a vial. The rest fell apart. Sanitary clothing, surgical mask, skull cap. The eyes are remarkably lifelike. Another vandalized
Oh, we met a
inscription.
healer.
I can make out the last three letters. E-O-N.
Ian.
Muscular kneeling man. Untitled artwork.
I do wonder if Leo made all these massive ass sculptures.
This one's a lonely limb. No markings on the plinth. I talk and he appears to listen.
Is the vial
Never
Leo?
utters a
Maybe,
sound.
yeah.
But my words do get through to him. Does he know her? He shrugs. Who knows or even cares?
Okay.
I thought of these people as neighbors. They're isolated planets whose paths don't overlap.
I kind of like that everybody has obtuse mystical things to say that are slightly themed to whatever their job or background is.
Does he know what the statue used to look like? His fingers dip in the sand. Elegant, clean strokes. He answers with a portrait. Is that the same person? Now
You
his
tell
finger
me.
rises towards a white moon. The light changes.
Cool.
One of those night skies more solid than the earth itself. He's done here.
Cool. He walks into the ocean, never to be seen again. There he goes. All right. I like that little sand animation. Okay. Is there anything else here for me to engage with? Is it? Okay. All right. Glumper, I do too. Especially in a point and click game where you can hit dead ends and might have to go back and talk to everyone again. I like when an NPC's like, you got what you needed from me, don't talk to me. I'm no longer an option. Yeah, the fact that it has gotten even later in the day, it's very pretty. I don't know if I mentioned it. This game is beautiful.
I never
I
get
do-
to show her the portrait. The ritual begins.
Oh. Okay.
A mechanical march. I know exactly where it leads.
Gotten a little folk horror, which y'all know I love. Yeah, the Mason kept talking about the ritual. Oh my god, is the tree burnt because they already Wicker Man to the tree? Sorry, Wicker Tree the tree. I watched Wicker Tree for the first time this year. It is the sequel to the Wicker Man that Robin Hardy made like 20 years after the Wicker Tree or the Wicker Man. I've always heard the worst things about it. It's so bad. It's devastatingly
It's all there,
bad.
the smells and bells of worship. With none of the fervor. The congregation goes through the motions. I find myself neutered, toothless,
Getting high.
spectator of a sequence 100 times witnessed. In the face of violence, my mind wanders. The acoustics in the sanctum must be wired for sound. Is anesthetic. It stings the eyes, and water has an oily quality. It rises and smells faintly of roses. Washes my doubts away, dulling edges, until only the sharpest shape remains.
That was awesome. I love that. Nothing remains but the name of her brother. Whew. Yeah, no, the Wicker Tree is real. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Robin Hardy spent years and years trying to get funding for it. He wrote the script himself, whereas the script for The Wicker Tree was co-written by like an actual novelist. And boy, can you feel the difference in the movie. But I will say this: a lot of people, it does not have bees. Is this just the game now? I probably have to use Leo on myself.
Leo Dormer, my little brother.
Okay.
This is the night I find him,
okay.
after so many years apart.
kind of a megalopolis situation, yeah. Well, we're not back, though, because the address, my brother's house address was 341, if I remember correctly. So I don't know where we're at, but we're not back. Yeah, Jim. Watching the Wicker Tree.
He's expecting me.
People make a lot of comparisons between Midsummer and The Wicker Man, and it's definitely there. That's obviously an inspiration. It's definitely like a core element to Midsummer is the Wicker Man. After watching The Wicker Tree, I was like, oh, Ari Aster saw The Wicker Tree and was like, I can do this better. There's so many elements in The Wicker Tree that are one for one Midsummer, like way more than The Wicker Man even. And it was one of those things where it was like, oh, I meant to sit down and do some research if I could find Ari Aster talking about The Wicker Tree anywhere. I cannot parse visually what is happening here. Is this the front? I guess this must be the front lawn. Oh, there's a window over here, apparently.
The night I learned everything about him.
So they are estranged, so I can't go up these stairs? I have to go to the panic room? Okay.
He says he can't recognize his face.
He said the Wicker Man isn't an influence, or he said the Wicker Tree isn't an influence. Either way...
He begs me not to go.
She says so.
The words ring like a curse. Iris, he says. Don't go to Phoenix Springs. Yet here I am.
Yeah, I did it. We did it, Iris. See, this picture is also like clearly like Victorian era children. Okay, we've looped. I mean, if I'm honest, here's how I interpret Ari Aster saying the Wicker Man wasn't an influence. It's because he only saw the Wicker Tree. It means he only saw the Wicker Tree, and the Wicker Tree was an influence, but nobody ever asked him about it because it's a terrible movie that's bad to see. There's just, I mean, it is like it's possible to be familiar with folk horror and the tropes of folk horror without ever seeing the Wicker Man. Oh, he said he tried not to be influenced by the Wicker Man. Oh, okay, that's way different. That's so much different than Wicker Man wasn't an influence.
It's vague, imprecise. Like I'm supposed to be lost.
Okay, are we just... I love the Wiki Man. It's so stupid.
Knock hard on something hard, he says. I should be building buckets, not fixing everybody's mess. How do I find Phoenix Springs? Already there, he says, not missing a beat. Has he heard the name? We aren't supposed to do names, he says. I'm not sure what that means, but I pinpoint what repels me. Not the pent-up violence or disdain. He's a stickler.
That's really funny.
I am no guide, he hisses. I am no tarot card. I have dignity and needs.
Okay.
Can't tell if it's sabotage or repairs. I can't.
Gio's die, yeah, it's called depression.
Steep climb. I can't.
Okay. Back to the formation. I'm so glad we got to do this walk another time. Oh, thank you, Sheeta. I will check it out.
No, that does.
No, okay.
The formation. One.
Hold on. Yeah. How do I...
The formation reminds me. One.
Yeah. Can I
No.
use them? Can I not go this way? Oh, right. I have to...
Something about this specific formation. It's a gate, a portal.
It's such a choice to make us do this particular portion twice. Perpetual Vanda, thank you for the
A tunnel
resubscribe.
that sucks me in. This is how I make it to the oasis.
Yeah, we did this. We did do this.
Green crater in the heart of the desert.
Am I gonna have to walk
It's
back through this
gravity.
entire...
It pulls me.
It's just the same... It's just the same stuff. Right? I'm pretty certain this is all the same... Yeah, I'm gonna go straight to the tree. I believe I've progressed. Clearly I've progressed. It's just like...
I'm stretching, he says. So I see. Wake up and
Really-
think. Empty
really happy
myself.
for you.
Do my sums. Eat. So you see? It's mind, body, like alternating current. Some say it's one, but the binaries won't meet. He goes on. The man can talk. But not listen, apparently.
The man can talk.
She tears pieces of paper off. Chews them. Spits and pounds them.
Oh my god, is she making like alcoholic
She
paper?
signals
Is she
that
gonna
her
ferment
mouth
the
is full.
paper? I believe I finished my game of the year. I did a dumb thing, and I think I can't remember if I mentioned this in the last stream. And I split off my final game of the year, my like #1 game of the year, into a separate video. And I'm almost finished writing the script on that one. It's just about why I think my game of the year is my game of the year. How the fuck? Okay, I think I went the wrong way. Yeah, it's about. So I split my #1 game of the year off into a separate video because I could not. It just needed to be a separate video. Is the long and short of it. It's so, if you get a little bit lost in this game, it takes so long to get back to where you need to be on the right. Obviously, it's Egg Crush. I did love Egg Crush. It's not Egg Crush. It's not Egg Squeeze. Anyway, so I'm almost done writing that script. I would like to record them both at once. But I'm thinking about that a lot because I do end up talking about, like, what, in my opinion, makes something a good art game. And so I'm like, I'm resisting the urge to get into it right now because I'm like, 2024 is the year of the egg, basically. I do mention the number of egg-based games there are. Anyway, so this is just underscoring the things that I think my game of the year did really good. Surprised it's Sonic Adventures 2. That would be really funny. Most of the games on my game of the year list are games that I streamed. Not all of them, but most of them. And that's pretty standard, honestly. Most of the games that I play in a year, I do play on stream. That's part of the reason why I stream, is that, like, having this accountability to sit down and play new games is extremely useful.
My superior was so boastful, she says. bragging about her 50 years of experience. With all due respect, I told her, sounds to me like you've had 1 year of experience 50 times. I bet she didn't like that. We shouldn't talk anymore, she says.
Oh, Jim, that's interesting because actually, controversial opinion, did not enjoy Kentucky Route Zero. I know a lot of people really, really love that game. I only played the first 3 chapters, so if I had finished it, I would have had a more complete experience with it. But it's riffing on similar stuff. Yeah. Yeah. This is a struggle because it's like I appreciate that this is. I mean, it's a beautiful game, so like sitting here and enjoying these beautiful vistas is not the worst game experience I've ever had. But for me, it's like I think part of what's important for a game is to balance the game-ness of it, because otherwise, like what is differentiating this from just a movie, right? Like what are the things that are differentiating this experience from a less interactive experience? And so for me, that's like a core question here. Okay.
White fingerprints stained the glass panel. Medium-sized hands. Flower.
But I do feel like I sometimes fall in the trap of thinking that like
No gaps,
more
buttons,
interactivity is better.
It must lead underground. But how?
What do you mean, but how? Okay, the walkthrough is telling me to not fuck with it and go talk to somebody else. I had a similar issue with Skinamarink, which is that I think, and well, this is another thing, is like I know there are a lot of people who like loved Skinamarink and loved the whole experience of watching it. My experience of watching it, I watch it with my partner, is that for the first 20 minutes we were like edge of our seats, 100. We were super engaged, just like really invested in what was happening. We loved all of the atmosphere, and then there was like a bloop where we just like fell off and we're like, oh, this is just the whole movie is just this. The whole rest of the movie is just going to be kind of more of this. And it was like I've never had such a dichotomous experience watching a movie where it was like, oh hey, this the cabin that guy was working on is gone. Never had such a split experience where it was like so engaged at the opening and then so the rest of the movie struggled so much to not just like be lulled to sleep. Yeah, Maddie Bear, I think that's the long and short of it. Is that I think a lot of horror movies that are great shorts suffer when you make it a full movie, and that is how I felt about that.
Finely ground, speckled with ashes.
Okay. You there, boy? What day is
Let
it?
me guess. He's the baker. That's not a guess, he says. The bread won't shape itself. Can't argue with that. I noticed flour on the lift. He whispers, is that where I left my memory? I think he let it slip. An admission he's been under. I offer to fetch his memory for him.
Exactly,
But
busted.
what is it? No point, he says, if I don't even remember what it is.
Okay. I'm just fully...
Complex internal logic that solves very little. It's frustrating. But I felt
Are they
compelled to
talking
help
about
him.
the game? Was that a meta commentary on the game? I'm just fully using the walkthrough now because, like, the steps that it wants me to take are there's nothing in the game that's leading to them. And it's like, I'm grateful that they've provided this walkthrough, but it's just a frustrating, I don't know. It's like, to what extent should we expect that video games be self-contained? There was a time in game development where you had to assume, well, not really. I'm thinking back, like, I guess there was, because you would always have like a game guide, even before the internet. It is like, yeah, Jim, I'm thinking through it, like, you would always have game guides, not necessarily manuals, but like you would always have like a little booklet with the game that was like, here's the information. But like, yeah, to what extent are games ever fully self-contained? Should they be self-contained? They should be more they should be more self-contained than Phoenix Springs is. Okay, okay. It's telling me to go to a place that I don't think I've ever actually been to. I think I really liked about Tunic is the way in which the Tunic was so interesting because it was self-contained but also had the guide, right? Like the guide to how to play it was built into the game experience in a really interesting meta way, and I really like that. Hey, Isoplod. Okay. It's saying go to the high cabin music room. Yeah, Tunic was great. Tunic was a game-ass game. This is not a game-ass game. And God help me, but I love game-ass games. Yeah, Tralabai, I always felt like I earned pages in Tunic, and that those pages continued the gameplay cycle by giving me more information. I don't know. I don't know. It's telling me to go to the high cabin music room, and I just don't think we've been there, so I'm gonna have to... There was one branch over this way that we didn't walk to. What is this cabin? This is the rotted fruit cabin? No, this is nothing. Okay. God, I'm worried now that the cabins have changed content, and that one of the cabins I've already been to is now the music cabin, and that we are going to have to spend the rest of the stream trying to find one cabin that the game hasn't indicated to me in any way that I need to go investigate, by the way. Okay, it's this way. I don't think we went to the stone steps because we went to the statues last time. So presumably, yeah, I think it should be up here, hopefully. Playing this game is like when you go out with somebody who's really beautiful, but they're so beautiful they never had to be like a good conversationalist. And it's just like, I wish this could work, but I have different needs, and you're not going to be able to fulfill them. High cabin, okay. 90% through, okay. That does help me. Is the last 10% all walking? Ooh. Okay. Thank you, Jim. Hey.
Cross-legged, entranced.
This is cool.
Cables dance above her head.
This is cool. Hey, what's
She
up?
bows. Any requests? I have questions. A question is a request, she says.
Oh my god, we're trapped.
How do I help Baker remember something? A cluster of notes becomes a phrase. A ballad. Is this Baker's? I seem to recall, she nods. She's already recalling his ballad. She's already recalling his ballad. thanks me. What for? It's a privilege, she says, to spend time in there. Does she mean the music, helmet, head?
I'm just using a walkthrough now, Jim.
The musician played me a melody. Might help Baker with his memory. I hum it to myself.
The guide, for context for the audience, the guide is telling me, yeah, Jim, it makes me angry. Jim, I need you to know that makes me angry. The walkthrough is saying you have to hum the ballad to yourself multiple times, or you will forget it on the long walk back to where you're going.
Baker's little tune. I remember how it goes now.
Jim, thank you for helping. It's just, it is funny,
once more.
but it's funny because it makes me so angry.
The musician played me a melody. Might help Baker with his memory. I know it by heart.
Hey, Emmett. Okay, she knows it by heart. I can assume we can leave. It's just like, if... Yeah, she just said she can't forget it. Thank God, Faith. Yeah, Shuri D. It's a funny idea, but... So, if that had happened to me on live stream, I would have unplugged my computer. I wouldn't have said a word. The stream would have just ended, and I would have gone for a long walk. I would have reached unprecedented levels of frustration and anger. I could feel it bubbling up in me, even though it didn't happen. Just the knowledge that could have happened to me is like stressing me out. It's just like, it's a funny idea, and I think used by a game that was more confident in its gameplay could have been really incredible. But it's just like, why? It's hard not to feel like this was a really, really purposeful choice in combination with like the long walk, because it feels like because you are setting up a situation in which you are forcing the player to take really long walks. It feels like, okay, so there is like, NH London, it would have taken me years, because I would have unplugged my computer and walked away from this whole life. So to answer your question, it would have taken me fucking years. There are games in which obtuseness is good and fun and beneficial. And I'm saying this because I just started a Dark Souls 3 run-through. I restarted a Dark Souls 3 run-through last night. Because I was like, I just need to feel pain, I guess. I need to hurt myself, so I'm going to start a Dark Souls 3 run-through. And it's like, the thing that people like about the Dark Souls games is that they are often obtuse and difficult and demanding and are not telling you what to do in really fun and interesting ways. But and it's a balance, right? It's such a balance. And I think there are other games that do this as well. I mean, I would argue Disco Elysium, which I'm super curious if this game was inspired by in any way. Like, Disco Elysium has a lot of fucking obtuseness and difficulty and like long walks and stuff like that. And you have to struggle and search around people. But like, it is ultimately rewarding. It's just that like, you have to find the right balance, I think. And that's so difficult. I don't know. Yeah, Isoplot, that's a great point. People find friction in games without making it intentional. A game can ask you to spend time with it through fiction. I understand the intent, but it's difficult not to go too far. Yeah, that balance. The balance is so important. And it is like, I think having like long, beautiful walks like this can work in a game. But because the actual puzzles are so obscure, it means that you're going to have to do that long walk multiple times, and then you're sort of degrading the experience of that. We talked about this during the mouthwashing version too, which is like, because horror games rely so much on atmosphere, you almost have to, I don't want to say dumb down the puzzles, but you have to make the puzzles so accessible that you're not just like sitting in the atmosphere, because if you sit in the atmosphere for too long, you sort of become nullified to it. Because there was one puzzle in mouthwashing where it was really, really gross, but then I had to fuck around with it for so long because it wasn't clear what to do, that it's like, all right, I get it, I'm force feeding him, like, oh, you got me. It's just like, atmosphere is so delicate, and that's why it's so hard to do in games, because of this interactivity. But it also means you have to, I think, in a certain way, I don't want to say compromise the interactivity, but you have to be so much more thoughtful about how you're implementing it and making sure it's really, really clear. And I mean, this is the yellow paint problem too that people were complaining about, where it's like, horror games really lean into, here's yellow paint, this is the way you have to go. But they have to, because if you're just like doing circles around Silent Hill, your engagement and your engagement decreases, like, because you're wallowing in it in a way that is not keeping up the pace. All right, let's go talk to somebody about something. I hope my character didn't forget the song because I was just standing here. Okay. I need to talk to the baker who was over here. Okay. I do think you should try this game out for your own. I mean, because that's fundamentally the thing, right? Like, the experience of playing a game, you can really only get it if you are playing the game. And inevitably, your experience playing the game is going to be different from mine. So this might be a very satisfying, chill experience for you if you are playing it on your own. Yes.
His melody. I hear it. I hum it. We used to play it on the beach, he says. That's the memory I've left below.
Hey. Okay. Oh my God, was that him running in, running by the windows?
The way down.
Okay. Okay, go to the burnt tree. All right. What windows was he running by that we just saw him run by? Did he go that way? Because that's not how I'm supposed to go. I don't know. At the end of the day, the things that you like and want out of media are going to be different from the things other people like and want out of media. And I think that's really cool and fun. And I like talking to people who have different tastes in media than I do, because like, I want to be able to appreciate media that I don't understand or that I find obtuse or that it's not for me. Even if I'm not going to like it, I want to understand why other people enjoy it. So even if I play a game that I find at the end of the day more frustrating than rewarding, which is how I feel about Phoenix Springs now, we'll see how I feel at the end of it. I'm grateful for you, chat, who enjoy it, to talk through like why you enjoy it, because it's interesting to me. I think it's interesting and useful. And Rise of the Golden Idol. We might go back and play Rise of the Golden Idol. That might be how we finish out the year, but we'll see.
He's cracked it.
Okay. Talk to?
Does he remember now? I remember now, he says.
I applaud him with you 100%.
Unnumbered sublevels. I notice leaks, unplugged cables. This is legacy technology. Layers built upon layers. Automation without aim. Baker fidgets, gets on my nerves. Can you smell it, he asks.
What The Rock is cooking?
It reeks of the end.
Oh. Automation without aim, yeah. I agree with Syrup. Okay. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is my general recommendation that I wish more people on the internet took, but I know they won't, is that, like, not everybody's gonna like the stuff you like. And that's okay. Like, it's totally fine to enjoy things that other people don't like and to like things that other people don't enjoy. And it's not only is it okay, it is the nature of reality. That it's just the truth of the world is you're gonna like stuff that other people don't like, and other people are gonna like stuff that you don't like, and it does not reflect who you are as a person, and your tastes don't reflect who you are as a person. This is the thing I think people struggle with. This is a very modern thing, but it's a thing I think people struggle a lot, which is like, your tastes do not define who you are. But I would balance that out with, like, you should be mindful and critical of the things that you enjoy. Otherwise, you're probably going to get a lot of messages that you might not be fully clocking the fact that you get. And this is tricky, right? Because if somebody came up to me and was like, God, let me just roll my Rolodex and pick out, there is bad media out there that is so inherently toxic that the messages of it, if somebody was like, I'm a big fan of blank, it would be a red flag. So it's difficult, right? Because it's like, there's just like Nazi shit out there that people are fans of. And if somebody is like, there are differences like that. I don't know. It's complicated. But if you're just like, I like Steven Universe, and somebody's like, oh, well, that's like, it's fine. it's fine. Not all media has to be perfect and pure, but we should all be more mindful of the messages we get from our media, whether we like it, especially if we like it, right? I don't know. It's all complicated. Media's interesting, but it's complicated. I think people should be the most critical of the things that they enjoy. I think if you love something, those are the things you should most interrogate, because those are the things that you are most exposed to. Can I look at the pod? Can I talk to the pod?
Discarded like empty bullet casings.
Are these the same?
Discarded like empty bullet casings.
I'm wondering if these are the same pods that we saw in Leo's house.
Haunted, planted on the spot. Scanning the photograph he picked up from the ground. Is that his memory? I shouldn't be here, he panics. Why would Mason choose this?
Look at this
I'm
little
leaving for the sea.
neckerchief.
Off he goes again. Forever indecisive. Bouncing between locations. But the name, Mason, dormant inside of me. I've heard it before. A connection to Leo.
Okay. Emmett asks in YouTube chat, Phoenix Springs is like the Moltres to Thunder Bay's Zapdos. So what is Articuno? Yeah, Slugpunk, man. That shit's so wild, right? Yeah, it's hard. That's especially hard because J.K. Rowling has been explicit about the fact that people still supporting Harry Potter means that they support her. Like, so that's tricky. It's tricky. I can't fault people for being nostalgic about it, but I do think you should let go. But it's not my choice to make fundamentally, and like, I don't know, it's complicated.
Clinical imaging device. Bypasses vocal cords.
Okay, there's a headband.
A prompt. Begin diagnostic. It wants me to enter a name.
Therapeutic activity, you liked Garbage Lands? It was really good.
conversation would be one-sided. It wants me to enter a name.
Mason? Leo Dormer.
M-A-S-O-N.
Probably Leo. Oh, was Mason it?
Machinery
Okay.
whirs. A body is flushed out of ancient plumbing.
Uh-oh. I just found a body? Let me look at the body. Oh, it's Mason.
Mutilated between states.
Oh. Oh my god! Hello?
Can we speak?
It is
Not like
Curly. Okay, I have to use this weird brain thing. No, come back here.
Coils dig into my temples. It's working. The water amplifies. I am the antenna. We tune into
I didn't
each
know
other's
this had a
thoughts.
mouth-watering crossover.
There is a shape in there. A trace of Leo. It's noisy, imprecise. I might need to reawaken other memories first. Let's try the person.
Big year for peeled, guys! I applaud.
The image is fragmented at first.
Are these all... Do we
Thoughts
think these are
congeal.
like Leo's children
I
or
see it.
Leo's clones?
A faint trace of personhood. We focus on our location. It triggers a strong response. I catch a flurry of linked ideas. A worksite. A flood. An architect. The sequence ends abruptly, as if halted. Who is the architect? Hard to determine.
Yeah, when you get a laser peel, but they set the laser too strong.
I feel like we both know. I sense great tenderness. The vision ends. Why is the worksite significant? What happens there? It's unclear. The memory is foreboding. About the flood. It's a dead end.
Those are all the words I have. Okay.
Two souls crammed into one skull. It's indecent. It wants me to enter a name. Name not found. Why would my brother be up there?
Why wouldn't he?
Already here.
Bring me Phoenix Springs.
Name not found.
Bring me
Anybody else
Architect.
up there?
I see, okay. Are you gonna be nasty too?
Contorted, twitching.
Oh my
A
god, he's
feverish
got
bad
holes in
night's
his
sleep.
body. He got holes in his body, Chad. Okay.
It's
Hey.
unpleasant in there, inhospitable. Like a great wall surrounds a vortex, the wall screams for me to crash against it. Can we remember the architect? Barely.
This is beautiful.
An iota of ego, wrapped up in torturous motion. I focus. It's like another memory traps the light. Too much gravity and mass. Can we remember? No, it's not working. Only wants to be consumed by one thought.
Flood?
I try. that shapeless unease. I feel seasick. I visualize a worksite. The thought pierces through, unearths buried sediments, accreted over time. It calls for a name, but whose? We see it now. It's too much.
At that time, it gave me a
vision
hint.
Something.
Calls for a name means Mason.
But I extracted it.
But this is one where you have to apparently have to enter them. Worksite then Mason. I hope this. I'm gonna take on faith that.
Like black milk, swarming with electrodes.
Ugh. Do not drink the black milk. I assume this is building to... I would love if this ends with Bug Harp. That would rule.
I'll bring Mason back out.
Oh god. I'm looking at the walkthrough and it's mentioned these topics in the right order, and there's like 6 words that we do have to mention in the right order.
Mutilated
look at you
between
again.
states.
Give me a little peek. Wow, so coy. No. Use the headband. Come back here. Okay.
Looks like we're back to the original loop. The self erased and reframed.
Okay. I'm just straight up using the walkthrough now because
We rebuild the memory from the ground up. It starts with the person, Mason. I see it. A faint trace of personhood.
Alright, so we are rebuilding the memory from the ground up.
This place. We see the location clearly. Always triggers the same ideas. A worksite. A flood. An architect. Who is the architect? I sense great tenderness. The vision ends. The accident shouldn't be survived. Life hangs by a thread, and yet the thread is respun.
Okay.
It is rebirth.
No, Isopon.
The procedure. All these people around Mason. Our lives become entangled. That's why I'm in the room, covering it for the newspaper. A strange mirror. Memories of me that aren't my own. Is that all they see? Is that all I am? We remember now. Something happens to me here. I become broken. An engine that only produces one question. But it is me. The reason his name lives on. I ask about Leo endlessly. I may not see the full picture. But I know exactly where to find it. How long have we been doing this? Years, decades, millennia.
Okay. So we are... I suppose. We are part of whatever this experiment is. I think some sort of automated biology creature. And either what we have played before happened recently, or it happened like 100 years ago and we're just reliving it. Because our brother was very old. A lot older than us.
Brother.
Maybe like 50
This
years
is
ago.
The night I find him.
Okay.
After so many years apart. The night I learn everything about him. How he turned his life around. How he became a new man. How he made plans for the end. He is expecting me. An old man on his last breath. He says he can't recognize his face. His heart grows heavy with regret. I know exactly how he feels. That's why I'm at his house. To tell him about a place where we can start anew. But he knows it's too late. Like a sun warps space-time, he says, I must distort reality. And I'm afraid eternity would distort me eternally. He begs me not to go. The words ring like a curse. Maybe I should have left when I still had the chance. Our documented history. It's nice someone kept copies. Maybe later. He asks if I feel better. Heard sobbing in the cabin. I'm fine, I tell him. I used to call it rainwater, he says. It would cheer up my granddaughter. A little rainwater never hurt anyone. I study the strangely lucid person next to me. Realize I've no idea who or what they are. And that for a brief moment, it's the lucidity that matters. Rivers, tears, the sea, he says. It's all the same stuff anyway. Water's a closed system. Sometimes revealed. Sometimes hidden away.
Yeah, I supply 100,000%. So how I'm parsing this is that she came to Phoenix Springs and essentially became immortal. Oh, I was hoping to talk to the other person. That's fine. I guess I didn't need to. Eleanor Summers, you crushed it. The art animation, top tier, 100%. Beautiful, perfect. Probably didn't have anything worthwhile to say, Jim. Who needs to know? Okay, so Alex Anderson Crow. I think she also did an incredible job. Okay, so I think the purpose of the long walks, I do think it was structurally purposeful in the idea that you're in a time loop and you're repeating these things, and like, so having to go through that over and over again, I think makes metaphorical sense in the game. But I think it's kind of a big ask, especially because we did it way fewer than somebody who wasn't using a walkthrough would probably have ended up doing it. Yeah, she's just like another Lost NPC, which is really funny. Okay, my parsing of this... Sorry, it's a little bit loud. Can I turn down the volume now? No. I'm gonna turn it down in my ear. And in the stream. Yeah, so my parsing of this is that she comes to this, what I'm gonna guess is like an artist retreat, and becomes immortal, but that immortality comes with sort of a leeching of personality. It's sort of like Zardoz. It's sort of like Zardoz if you think about it. Where it's like they're all like artists defined by their job. So you have the surgeon, or the healer, the sculptor, the calligrapher, and they've all come to this where they've become immortal, is my guess, and they're Guy who's only seen Zardoz. That's me. I've only ever seen Zardoz the movie. I've seen 2 movies. It's Zardoz and The Wicker Man. I recently added the Wicker Tree to it, so now I have 3 touchstones. Well, but Zardoz is about a bunch of intellectuals and artists that become immortal and then lose their identity and will to live because, like, they have no purpose anymore, basically. And so that's what I'm parsing through this, is that the people who came to this commune are stuck in sort of this loop where they can't escape anymore because, like, they've lost their identity and they've lost who they are. And I guess they sacrificed the Mason, or maybe they were trying to rebuild her. It's hard to tell. But with that weird fucked up body with the fucked up face, I think reflects the scene we saw. You think Mason died in the accident and got put into the loop against her wishes, maybe? Maybe. But yeah, it's hard to tell because, like, the scene where we go to the burned tree and they do the ritual, there was that animation of somebody cutting her face. And then when we saw her in the well at the end, her face was all fucked up. We only got to see that for a second, so it's hard. I didn't get a sense of, like, if there was a through line there or if that was just an art choice that wasn't relevant necessarily. This is the far future. Yeah, I guess the question is, like, I was assuming that, okay, here's what I'm assuming, just working backwards. I assume we're on the island because we got into the well, and the well moved us up or down, and that the well is connected to that commune. It was messed up in the accident, true, that's true. So maybe that's part of her loop, is just, like, maybe to reset her, they had to fuck her face up. I think we got flashes of what the journalist looked like when she was older in that flashback. At the very, very end, I think we got 1 or 2 flashes of what I think we're supposed to interpret is an older version of the journalist. So I do think she aged, and I think her brother, the bioethicist, was like, I have concerns. I have philosophical and ethical concerns with what you're doing, so I am not going to participate in this. And I think his bioethical concerns are what we saw. I can't believe that the insect harp didn't come back. I know this is my fault. This doesn't reflect poorly on the game. I personally can't believe that the insect harp didn't come back. Yeah, Jim, I'm on board with what you're saying. Yeah, she went and found him at the end of his life and has been re-finding him in her memory for years. My guess is she's replaying that experience because she's trying to find a way through to convince him, maybe? Like, maybe she's trying to find a way to convince him finally in her mind to join them at Phoenix Springs, and she never can because he never does. This game is tricky. I do quite like it a lot more having gotten to the ending, which is why it's always worth getting to the ending of things before you critique it. That's to the person I saw somebody on social media who said they hated the substance because it was sexist, and also that they left before the end of the movie. And I'm like, makes me so angry. So I'm glad I pushed through the end of this. But Nightwork Raven says it feels more like Alzheimer's or dementia being caught in the loop, and that's why she calls it lucidity when she comes out of the cabin. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Leo told her not to go to Phoenix Springs. That's super right. And I am curious the extent to which he knew about it. But this is the hard thing about games. About video games. It's not even that long, so that's true. The ending is difficult. The ending of the substance is difficult. I don't fault them for leaving. I fault them for thinking that they can shit talk it when they haven't seen the whole thing. That's the thing that gets me, is like, if you go into the substance and you think it's sexist, It's because you haven't watched the whole fucking movie. I don't know. Annoys me. It annoys me. A difficult thing about games and art games is that your game still has to be like playable. And this game was, but once we found Leo and he died, like the game was really good about setting up the concept of we are trying to find our brother Leo. That was really set up, I think, very thoughtfully. But that storyline ended 2/3 of the way through. And it gave us this whole other act of the game without clarifying to us why we needed to do it. And it was also the longest and most obtuse portion of the game. It really did feel like we had sort of transitioned into another game, because like the language was different and the puzzles were structured differently. And so it's like, from an art experience and from a story standpoint and from an art standpoint, I think this is a really successful game. From a game standpoint, which is what it is, I think it has some major problems. Like, I don't know. It's hard. You have to earn a lot of trust from your player to hit a point where you can be like, you don't know where you're going or what you're doing, but trust us, go through with it. And I do think there are some games that get there, but for me, this game didn't get there for me. And so that last act of the game, it was sort of like, Jim, yeah, I think you're right. They were hoping the first 2 acts got you bought into it. And it's unfortunate for me because it's like, you concluded the story without giving, I think, enough hints. Like right at the end of that story, we got one big hint, which was that our younger brother was significantly older than us. And we had the photo that showed us as like Victorian children. But even that photo is not a great hint because the timeline for this is so wibbly. It's like, I can't tell if this is our timeline but in the future, so that's something weird, or if this is an alternate timeline where it's like, this is what the 1950s look like. Like, it's not enough of a clue given the context of the game. That's how I feel about it. So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of like whether you buy into the game sufficiently in order to be willing to be sort of led in through the dark in the second half of the game. And for me, I wasn't there, but I can appreciate how somebody would be there. So tricky. Yeah, sometimes you play games and it's like, not for me, but I can really see how somebody would love it. And having finished the game, I think I get it. I do think, I'm pretty certain I saw this on 1 or 2 Game of the Year lists, and like, I think I can appreciate that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous game. A beautiful game. I think it could have used a little bit more like QA. And that's another like tricky thing for like a small indie game studio, is like having the time and energy to invest in playthroughs, because you have to have somebody play this game blind. You can't play through it if you know the answers to the puzzles, and like, because you're not going to get like a true QA experience from that. But it's also like, it's difficult to get QAs and stuff. Smiling and nodding sadly. It's hard. Making games is fucking hard. And I think this was ultimately a triumph. So I did follow this game, the studio on social media. I am really excited to see what other games the studio makes. Yeah, I love this as a through line. In a way, I feel dumb because it's like, oh, the game's called Phoenix Springs. So, like, yeah, I'm glad we pushed through to the end of this game. I guess I might pick up Rise of the Golden Idol next. Maybe we'll finish Among Ashes if I can emotionally get through. If I'm in a place to do spooky stuff, maybe we'll do Among Ashes. God, we're right on the borderline of, obviously I can't start another game. Let's see what I have in my inventory. Let's see what I've downloaded. Okay, where's my mouse? There we go. I have been playing 1000X Resist off air. I actually sat down last night to play more of it because that's a game that I know is on a lot of people Game of the Year list, and I have been playing it slowly but surely. And I sat down to play it last night, and I looked at my playthrough time, and I've only played 2 hours of it, which feels impossible. I feel like I've been playing it for like 10 hours because it's very densely packed with like information, and I am enjoying it, and I feel really bad about the fact that I didn't start playing it like earlier in the year, or I haven't like devoted enough time to finish playing it for Game of the Year stuff. But it's not going to happen. And that is just like, I feel bad about it because I do think it would be a contender, but it's just not going to happen. It picks up after the first section. I think I'm out of the first section. I'm in the overworld. Do I know 10 dead doves? No. Faith. We might get an Alan Wake DLC-uary. Hecky Alamo, Rojo Mild. With the 1000X Resist asks at the very beginning that you choose like a tagline, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I chose hair to hair. And now every once in a while, people in the game just say to me hair to hair, and I'm like, that's wild. It's wild that the game tricked me into saying that. Is really funny. I'm not familiar with 10 Dead Doves. Oh, this game just came out. I'm intrigued. Is it good? Should I check this out? If I get the Alan Wake DLC, we are only playing the Rose DLC. I'm not going to do the rest of it. Will I play another FMV game? Craggy, yes. Earlier this year, I think actually like in the fall of this year, I bought like 40 FMV games. There was a mega sale on like a collection of modern FMV games, and I did buy it. So I do have like dozens of FMV games. FMV February might be it. We are going to do an FMV month is what I'm saying. So at least one FMV month. And yeah, I really do want to play the Rose DLC for Alan Wake. I've been needing to sit down and see, how's my full cam? I've been meaning to see if I can just get the Rose DLC, but my instinct is that I have to buy them all, which I'm less interested in, if I'm honest. But it might be worth it just to spend more time with Rose, who I love. I love her so much. She's such a psycho. You need to buy both anyway. All right. If I have to buy all of it, then yeah, I might do a full Wakeuary. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm not going to commit to that, because if I get annoyed by the gameplay of that, then I'm going to bail on it. And that's just the long and short of it. All right, hold on. I'm gently. Okay. Yeah. Eyes applaud. Thank you for your trust. Alan Wake 2. Oh, maybe it's on sale right now. Yeah. Wow, it just will not. Nothing comes up when I search Alan Wake 2. It only brings up. Was Alan Wake 2 called something different? Is Alan Wake 2 not on Steam? How did I play Alan Wake? Mix us up. No plans to raid, so if you have anybody. How did I play Alan Wake? It's on Epic. Fuck. I'm not opening Epic right now. It's going to have to update. Shuri team, no, please. Please, I'm so susceptible to being Alan Wake gaslit. Oh yeah, we could stream Professor Ashley. That would be nice. I can never remember what Professor Ashley's. It's just Prof Ashley, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, it says she's offline. Who is streaming right now? Let me see who's streaming. Who can we... Oh, no, it says she's live. Wait a minute. Oh, Prof Ashley is somebody different. It is Professor Ashley. Okay. Every time. All right. Oh, I am really excited about Citizen Sleeper 2. Well, we are for sure streaming at least some of it. I don't know if we'll stream the whole thing. No promises. But I am extremely hype about it. I'm so curious what they do now that they have like a full-blown budget. Because the first one was an indie game, and now they're like, it was hugely successful. I love when small indie games have like a breakout hit, and then you can see like how they iterate on their original idea. Hey Roy, you showed up just in time for us to end the stream. I'm so sorry. But I love it because it's like, okay, I've seen your vision. Here, let me see what your vision is when you have like time and funding to actually do it. Because sometimes it's like, wow, this is great. And sometimes it's like, oh, well, maybe I'm just thinking of Rise of the Golden Idol, which overall I really like. I wish I had had more time to bake the puzzles, but I think that's what we'll be playing Tuesday. I think that's the plan. So... let's go raid Professor Ashley. I'll see you over there. We'll be back Tuesday, I think, with Rise of the Golden Idol, unless something else comes my way that I'm excited for, but I think that's it. So have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. Bye.